year was 3029. Earth had changed. Humans were no longer alone in the universe. They had met other alien species, some friendly, some dangerous. But none were like the Syrians. The Syrians were tall, graceful beings with glowing skin and deep, musical voices. They ruled a powerful star system. Their ships were fast. Their minds were strong. And their secrets many. One day, a giant Syrian ship arrived near Earth. It did not attack. It did not speak at first. It simply floated in silence above the moon. Everyone on Earth watched. Everyone waited. Then, the message came. One of your kind may bond with our royal princess. This bond will bring peace, power, and protection to Earth, but only if the human agrees to one rule. You may not see her face. This message confused Earth's leaders. Why hide her face? Was she dangerous? Was she ugly? Was this a trap? World. Governments discussed the offer for days. Most said no. They did not trust the Syrians. They did not understand their ways. They feared the unknown, but one man stood up. His name was Ray Carter. He was a former space soldier, strong, brave, curious, and a little tired of Earth's politics. He said to the world leaders, maybe the Syrians are hiding something, maybe not. But if there's a chance for peace, I'll take it. I don't care what her face looks like. I want to know what's behind the mask. Ray was chosen. The next day, he entered a sleek black shuttle. It flew him toward the Syrian ship like a bullet of light. As the Earth disappeared behind him, Ray stared out the window. He didn't know what to expect. But he wasn't afraid. Syrian ship was massive, bigger than any human city. Silent and smooth, like black glass. When Ray entered, he saw no buttons, no screens, just lights that changed color when he walked. A group of Syrians waited for him in a circular room. Their leader, an old being with silver blue eyes, stepped forward. You are the one who does not fear the unknown, the Syrian said. Ray nodded. I came to meet the princess. You will, the elder replied. But remember, you must never try to remove her mask. If she chooses to show her face, it must be her choice. Ray agreed. Then, the walls of the room shimmered. A figure stepped forward from the shadows. She was tall like the others, but moved more gently. A long silver dress flowed behind her. And on her face was a mask, not a normal mask. This one glowed with tiny stars and symbols. It covered everything from forehead to chin. Only her lips were visible, soft, silent. This was the Syrian princess. Ray bowed slightly. It's an honor to meet you. The princess said nothing, but her voice came into his mind, not through his ears. You speak with respect. That is rare among your kind, Ray smiled. Well, I'm not like most humans. The princess looked at him. He could feel it, even through the mask. Her gaze was sharp, like it could see through his skin, but it didn't feel cold. It felt curious. A glowing object floated between them. It looked like a crystal heart, beating with light. This was the bonding crystal, the elder said. Place your hand on the crystal. She will do the same. If your hearts connect, the bond will begin. Ray took a breath. Then he placed his hand on the crystal. It felt warm. The princess did the same. For a second, nothing happened. Then light exploded. Ray's mind filled with images, planets spinning, stars being born, a child crying, a woman laughing, a war, a death, a dream, a song. Voices echoed in his head in many languages. But one voice was louder than all. The princess. You are not like the others, she said. You don't fear what you cannot see. That is rare. Ray tried to speak, but he couldn't move. The light around the crystal turned red. The Syrians gasped. One shouted, "This should not happen." Ray felt pain in his chest. Something inside him twisted. He fell to his knees. The last thing he saw before blacking out was the mask. And behind it, for just a flash, two glowing eyes, not cold, not cruel, but full of secrets. It was dark. Too dark. Ray opened his eyes, but he saw nothing. No stars, no ceiling, no floor. Just black. But he wasn't dead. He could hear it, a soft voice, like a song without words, echoing inside his head. Do not be afraid, Ray Carter. You are in the between. The what? Ray whispered, but not with his mouth. His words echoed in his thoughts. The space between your world and mine. The bond pulled you here. Then, slowly, light began to return. Shapes moved around him. Strange symbols floated in the air. And right in front of him, the princess, still masked, but this time her body glowed softly as if her soul was made of light. She reached out her hand not to touch him, but to show him something. The space around them twisted. Suddenly, Ray saw images flash around him. A city in the sky, a throne made of crystal, a baby with eyes like fire, a war, a mask, a secret buried deep. Then everything went black again. Ray gasped and sat up. He was back on the Syrian ship, lying in a glowing bed. A strange blue mist filled the room. Syrian healers stood nearby, whispering in their musical language. When they saw him wake, one ran out quickly. Ray touched his chest. The pain was gone. But something was different. He could hear thoughts. Not words, but feelings. Like distant whispers all around him. He stood up slowly. The doors opened before he could even speak. Waiting outside was the princess, still masked. She walked slowly toward him. Her presence was quiet, almost sad. But her voice entered his mind again. You should not have survived, Ray Carter. Ray frowned. What do you mean? The bond crystal rejected every other candidate. Some fainted, others screamed. One nearly died. But I bonded? He asked. She paused. Yes, but it was not normal. Your mind opened too wide, too fast. You saw what no one else was meant to see. Ray remembered the images. The glowing city, the child, the war. What were those? He asked. The princess turned away. Memories, some mine, some not. The bond connects us now. You carry pieces of me, and I carry pieces of you. Ray stepped closer. You knew this could happen? No. She said. This has never happened before. Not with a human. Not with anyone. Ray was taken to a quiet chamber, given food and clothes. But he couldn't sleep. His head was full of noise. Not loud but constant. Like someone whispering behind a wall. He stared out the window at space. The stars felt closer now, as if he could reach them. Then a sound, soft, sharp. He turned. A blade flew past his shoulder. He ducked, rolled. The weapon hit the wall and melted. A Syrian stood in the shadows, holding another weapon. This one looked like a staff made of lightning. You were not meant to bond with her, the Syrian said, voice deep and full of hate. You are a mistake. Ray backed away. Who are you? But the Syrian didn't answer. He attacked. Ray moved faster than he ever had before. His body reacted before his brain did. His arm blocked the strike. His other hand grabbed a nearby rod from the table. Metal hit energy. Sparks flew. The Syrian growled. You are changing already. Ray's eyes widened. What? The Syrian tried to strike again, but this time, Ray moved too fast. He dodged, spun, and knocked the weapon out of the attacker's hand. The Syrian looked shocked. Then ran. Guards rushed in seconds later. Ray pointed toward the escape path. He tried to kill me. The guards looked at each other, but said nothing. Ray stared at them. Why aren't you chasing him? Finally, one Syrian whispered, because he is one of the princess's royal protectors. Ray was taken back to his chamber. He sat in silence thinking. Something was wrong. Very wrong. The Syrians had invited Earth to bond with their princess. But now that he had done it, they were afraid, angry, even trying to kill him. Why? Later that night, the princess came to him again. She didn't speak with words. Just emotions, sadness, fear, a question. Do you regret bonding with me? Ray shook his head. No, but I think you're hiding something. She didn't reply. He stepped closer. Who was that attacker? Someone who believes the bond is forbidden. You are the first to survive it. That scares them. Ray's voice dropped. What are they so afraid of? The princess turned to leave before she walked out. She said one thing that chilled Ray to his bones. They're afraid the bond will reveal the truth. The walls were breathing. Ray didn't imagine it. He watched them pulse like lungs, slow and steady, glowing softly in the dim blue light. This wasn't just a ship. It was alive, and it didn't want him here. It had been 2 days since the attack. Ray was kept in a quiet part of the Syrian vessel, guarded, but not in chains. The Syrians claimed it was for his safety. But it felt more like a prison. No one spoke to him. Not even the princess. Since the bond, everything had changed. Ray was faster, sharper, and his dreams were no longer his own. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw 2 glowing eyes behind a mask, and sometimes he heard a voice whispering his name, but this voice was not the princess. One night, as Ray walked the quiet halls of the ship, something strange happened. The lights flickered, the walls shifted slightly, then he heard footsteps. He turned fast, ready to defend himself. But it wasn't a guard or attacker. It was a Syrian child. Small, pale, eyes wide. The child stared at him, silent. Then whispered, "You shouldn't be here. She is not what you think." Ray stepped closer. "Who? The princess?" The child nodded. Slowly, "She wears the mask for a reason. If you see what's underneath, you can't unsee it." Before Ray could ask more, a Syrian elder appeared and took the child away without a word. But something had changed. The voice in Ray's head whispered again, stronger now. Not the princess. Not the bond, something else. Later, Ray found a secret hallway. It wasn't on any map. The door opened when he touched the wall. Inside, it was cold, silent. The lights were red instead of blue. And at the end of the hallway, he found something shocking. A room full of broken masks. Some were cracked, some shattered. All of them had strange burn marks, like they had been ripped off in pain. Ray reached out to touch one, but a voice behind him stopped him cold. "This is where the failed ones are kept." Ray turned quickly. A Syrian stood there, not a guard, not a noble. He looked older, tired, wearing a cloak instead of armor. His face was marked with black line scars or symbols. "Who are you?" Ray asked. The man spoke quietly. "I'm the last of the Syrian rebels." Ray frowned. "Rebels?" The man nodded. "We once believed in truth. Now we are hunted." He walked closer and touched a broken mask gently. "The princess is not cursed, Ray. She is special. Too special." Ray watched him carefully. "What do you mean?" The rebel looked up. "She was born different, not fully Syrian. The old blood flows in her. That's why they hide her face. That's why the bond was never meant to succeed." Ray stepped back. "Old blood?" The rebel narrowed his eyes. "Human blood." Ray's mind spun. "That's not possible," he said. "The Syrians said she's royal, pure." The rebel laughed darkly. "That's the lie. The royal family hid the truth. Her mother came from another world. A human colony that disappeared long ago. When the princess was born, her powers were unstable." Ray remembered the visions in the bond. The child with burning eyes. The chaos. "She's hiding it," Ray said slowly. "Hiding who she is." The rebel looked him straight in the eye. "And if the Syrian people ever saw her true face, they would fear her or destroy her." Ray swallowed hard. "Why are you telling me this?" The rebel's voice dropped. "Because you are bonded now. That means if they decide to erase her, you die with her. That night, Ray was called to the princess's chamber. That it was the first time she had summoned him since the attack. The room was darker than before. The mask on her face shimmered with silver light. But this time, Ray noticed something else. A crack, a tiny line down the side of the mask. Barely visible, but it was there. The princess stood quietly, her hands folded. She didn't speak at first. Ray stepped closer. "You've been lying to me," he said. Her voice echoed in his thoughts. "I never lied. I only hid what I was not allowed to speak." Ray's fists clenched. "Are you part human?" A long pause. "Yes," she said finally. "I am." Ray's heart pounded. "Why didn't you tell me?" The princess turned away. "Because no one has ever survived the bond long enough to learn the truth. Until you." He stepped closer. "What happens?" "Now," she whispered one word that shook him. "Run." The mask was cracked. Now the truth was leaking out. Ray couldn't sleep. Not just because he had learned the princess was part human. Not because someone tried to kill him. But because she had told him one word that echoed in his mind like thunder. Run. But run where? He was in the heart of a living alien ship, floating in deep space. Surrounded by Syrians who wanted the bond erased, and maybe him too. And the worst part? The princess was planning to disappear. Earlier that day, she had come to him in secret. No guards, no mind talk. Just soft steps in the dark and one simple sentence. "Meet me in the lowest chamber." Alone. Now as the ship's inner lights dimmed and the halls grew quiet, Ray moved like a shadow through the glowing tunnels. Every corner felt like a trap. Every wall like an eye. The lowest chamber was far below the main decks. The air smelled different, heavy, dusty, forgotten. And when he finally reached the door, it opened by itself. Inside, the princess was waiting, still masked, still glowing, but different. She wasn't wearing royal clothes. No crown, no dress. Instead, she wore a dark suit that looked stitched from the stars themselves. Her voice entered his mind again, sharper now, quicker. "This is our only chance. The ship's core will shift at midnight. It opens a path to the old escape bay." Ray blinked. An escape bay? Used before the ship was part of the royal fleet, hidden now. But I know the way. Ray stepped closer. "Why now?" The princess looked up. The crack in her mask had grown. One glowing eye was now half visible, because they planned to end the bond. Tomorrow, during the moon alignment, publicly, if we're still here. They will kill us both. They moved through the ancient corridors. Dust floated in the air like stars trapped in slow time. Ray asked, "Why not fight? We could go public. Tell the truth." The princess didn't stop walking. "The truth doesn't save people, Ray. It burns them. You still don't understand who I am." Ray frowned. "Then tell me." She turned her head slightly. "I was born from a human mother, a prisoner. My father was Syrian royalty. He kept her hidden. When I was born, something was wrong." Ray felt a chill. "What do you mean?" The princess stopped, raised her hand. A nearby wall cracked without her touching it. The metal bent inward like it was afraid of her. Ray's eyes widened. Asterisk. "When I feel too much," she said softly, "things break." They finally reached the hidden bay. It was silent, dark and cold. Inside sat a small ship, black, sharp, and half covered in dust. An old escape pod from before Syrians ruled the stars. Ray touched it. "Will it fly?" The princess nodded. "If you help me fix it." They worked fast. Ray repaired wires. She used her energy to restart the ship's silent heart. But time was running out. Suddenly, alarms screamed through the walls. The ship shook. Lights turned red. They had been found. The princess looked at Ray. "Get inside. Now." Ray jumped into the pilot seat. The pod came alive with a hum. The door closed. Syrian guards ran down the hallway, blades drawn, eyes glowing with fear and anger. One shouted, "Stop her! Do not let her leave with the human." The princess turned toward the guards, raised both hands, and the ground split. Beneath them, the air crackled with power. She jumped inside the pod. Just as the door sealed shut, the pod launched, exploded through a hidden tunnel, out of the Syrian ship, into the cold of space. Ray gripped the controls. "We're out." "But where? Are we going?" The princess stared ahead, her voice shaking for the first time. "To a place they forgot, where no Syrian dares to go. A planet with no name." Ray looked at her. The crack in her mask had grown wider. Now, half her face was showing, and her human side was glowing brighter than the stars. The sky was broken. That was the first thing Ray noticed when they landed. Above him, the clouds moved like smoke in slow motion, torn, twisting. Pale blue lightning cracked without sound. And beneath those haunted skies, the planet looked like a forgotten graveyard. Dead trees, cold ground, and shadows that stretched too far. Ray stepped out of the pod. The wind was dry and strange. It felt like it whispered secrets in a language he almost understood. The princess stood beside him. She had removed her royal cloak. Her glowing mask was cracked open on one side half. Her face was now visible. What he saw shocked him. One eye was clearly Syrian, bright, silver, like a small moon. The other was human, brown, soft, filled with pain. The two halves didn't fight each other. They glowed together. Ray stared at her. "How is this possible?" The princess didn't answer right away. She simply looked up at the broken sky. "This world was hidden for a reason," she finally said. "It's where I was born." They walked through the ruined land. Old metal towers leaned like bones of fallen giants. Strange creatures watched them from the distance, but did not come close. Princess spoke again. Slowly, carefully. "This planet was once a human colony. A secret one. Far from Earth. The Syrians didn't know it existed, until they did." Ray listened. "My mother came from here. A scientist, explorer. The Syrians found this world and took it. My father was a Syrian general. He was supposed to destroy everything." She stopped walking. "He didn't." Ray said quietly, "He fell in love with her." The princess nodded. "He broke Syrian law to protect her. They hid me. But when I started changing things, breaking things just by feeling too much, they knew I wasn't safe." She looked at Ray. "They erased this world, buried it in maps, took me back. Told the galaxy I was full Syrian. Masked me since I was a child, hid my face from everyone." Ray asked, "Why let you bond at all?" The princess's voice turned cold. "Politics, power. They thought no one would succeed. The bond would fail, and they'd be free to end it." Quietly, Ray's hands clenched. "But I didn't fail." "No," she said. "You saw me. You accepted me. That's what they fear." They reached a ruined building. It was half covered in vines and dust, but Ray could still read the faded letters. "Earth Research Base Sector 9." Inside, they found old computers, cracked glass, broken chairs, but also dash memories. Photos, human voices stored in damaged machines. Ray listened to one recording, testing soil samples. "No major threats. Baby slept well last night. She keeps glowing when she's happy. I think she feels the planet." It was the princess's mother. Ray looked at her. Tears formed in the one human eye that was visible. "I haven't heard her voice in years." She touched the machine like it was holy. Ray didn't know what to say, so he didn't say anything. He just stood beside her. That was enough. That night they built a fire from broken tech and dry roots. They sat under the broken sky, side by side. Ray finally asked, "Why did the mask crack when we bonded?" The princess looked at him. Her voice was soft. "Because for the first time, someone saw me and didn't flinch." She turned toward him. The light from the fire danced across her half-shown face. You didn't ask me to be one thing. You didn't turn away. The mask was built to hide the truth, but the bond was built to reveal it. Ray smiled a little. So now what? The wind grew quiet. Now, she said, we prepare for war or peace. He blinked. You think they'll come for us? The princes looked up at the sky. They already have. High above them, in the sky's broken light, a Syrian warship appeared, cutting through the clouds like a blade. The sky was on fire, not with flames, but with light. The Syrian warship hung above the broken planet like a dark star. Its edges glowed red. Its silence was louder than thunder. Ray stood at the entrance of the ruined research base, staring up. The princess stood beside him. Her mask was gone. Back on the Syrian ship, no one had dared to look at her face. Now her full face was revealed to the sky. One side shimmered like Syrian glass, the other warm, human, real. The bond between her and Ray glowed like a line of light between their hearts. The connection was alive, pulsing, undeniable. And now, the Syrians knew. A voice boomed from the warship, echoing through the sky. Ray Carter, Princess Soraya, you are ordered to surrender. Return at once. The bond is illegal. The bloodline must remain pure. Ray looked at the princes. What happens if we don't go back? They'll attack, she said, but not just us, Earth too. He took a deep breath. And if we do go back? They'll break the bond, kill me quietly, rewrite history. Ray clenched his fists. Then we fight. But the princess didn't move. She stared at the ship, silent, calm. Not yet. They returned to the ruined base. The princess activated one of the old transmitters. It sparked to life. Ray watched as she sent a wide broadcast, not just to the Syrians, but to Earth. She stood tall before the broken console, her face fully visible to the galaxy for the first time. To my people, and to the humans of Earth, I am Princess Soraya, daughter of two worlds. I am not a shame. I am not a secret. I am the future you fear, and the peace you need. Her voice shook the stars. We do not come to fight, but we will not bow. Let the galaxy see who we are. If that is war, then so be it. But if you have even a spark of hope left, let this be the moment we choose something better. Ray added one line at the end, looking into the camera. I saw her face, and I didn't run. The message spread like fire. On Earth, people gathered around screens. Many cried. Some cheered. A few cursed. But no one looked away. Across the galaxy, Syrian families watched in silence. Elders argued. Children stared. A few whispered, "She looks like me." On the warship, Syrian commanders shouted, demanded weapons be charged. But some of the younger crew hesitated. Then, something impossible happened. The warship didn't fire. It slowly turned and left. Ray and the princess watched it disappear into the clouds. He whispered, "Was that peace?" The princess's voice was quiet. Maybe, or maybe they're waiting for orders. This isn't the end, Ray. Just the beginning. He nodded. Then, a beep came from the base computer. A message from Earth's leaders, Ray Carter. You are ordered to return to Earth for questioning. Your actions may have saved lives or doomed them. We need answers. Ray stared at the screen. They still don't trust us. Then we make them trust, she said. One truth at a time. Ray turned to her. Are you ready? The princess, now fully unmasked, looked into the distance. I was born ready. I just needed someone to stand beside me. 1,000 ships hovered in silence. Earth vessels, Syrian cruisers, neutral traders, pirate scouts. All gathered around one thing. A small platform floating above Earth's orbit, lit by a single golden beam. At the center of that light stood two figures. A human man. An unmasked alien princess. Ray Carter adjusted the collar of his black uniform. There were no medals on it. He had asked for none. Today wasn't about war or rank. It was about a promise. Beside him, Princess Soraya stood without armor, without royal robes. Her face half human, half Syrian glowed gently in the morning sun. No more hiding. No more fear. They stood hand in hand. The entire galaxy was watching. Weeks had passed since their escape. Since the bond. Since the truth was broadcast, reactions were mixed. Some celebrated, some protested. On Earth, people argued, is she a danger? On Syrian worlds, elders whispered, is this the end of our line? But no one could erase what had been seen, the princess's face. The human who didn't run. Now, they stood before a united council. For the first time in galactic history, Earth and Syrian leaders sat in the same circle. No walls, no weapons. Just eyes watching closely. Ray's voice echoed across the silence. I was told to bond with a princess I couldn't see. I was warned, feared, lied to. But when I saw her face, really saw it, I saw hope. Not a monster, not a mistake. A bridge. He turned to her, then stepped back. Princess Soraya stepped forward. No voice projection, no magic, just her voice. I lived behind a mask my whole life. Not for my protection, but for your comfort. I was told my face would break peace. I believe now it will build it. She looked around the council. Her voice grew steady. We are not here to ask permission. We are here to offer a choice. Keep hiding, keep fearing, or step forward and unite. Silence. Then a single voice rose from the Syrian side. An elder. Quiet, wrinkled, watching her with unreadable eyes. If we allow this bond, what becomes of our bloodline? Ray answered before Soraya could. It becomes stronger. It becomes honest. Another pause. Then, slowly, the elder stood. And bowed. All across the galaxy, on screens and satellites. People watched as others joined the bow. First one Syrian ship. Then another. Then Earth leaders. Then children. Then the crowd. Some still watched in fear. But more watched in wonder. Later that night, Ray and Soraya stood in a quiet room aboard the Earth flagship. Ray looked at her. It's over? She shook her head. No, but the galaxy blinked. That's a start. Ray smiled. So what now? She leaned her head against his shoulder. Now we show them what unity really looks like. Far across space, a secret Syrian agent watched the transmission from a dark planet. He tapped a message into a quiet console. The bond succeeded. The girl is unmasked. But the prophecy was real. He looked up at the stars, and something has awakened. The screen went black.